The First Book of the Odysseys of Homer. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Phil Schempf. The First Book of the Odysseys of Homer, translated by George Chapman. The Argument. The Gods in council sit, to call Ulysses from Calypso's thrall, and order their high pleasures thus. Grey Pallas to Telemachus in Ithaca her way address'd, and did her heav'nly limbs invest in Mentas likeness, that did reign King of the Taphians, in the main whose rough waves near Leucadia run, advising wise Ulysses' son to seek his father, and address his course to young Tantalides, that govern'd Sparta. Thus much said, she shew'd she was heav'n's martial maid, and vanish'd from him. Next to this, the banquet of Wooers is. Another argument. Alpha. The Deities sit, the man retir'd, the Ulyssean wit by Pallas fir'd. The man, O Muse, inform'd that many a way Wound with his wisdom to his wished stay, that wander'd wondrous far, when he the town of sacred Troy had sack'd and shiver'd down, the cities of the world of nations, with all their manners, minds, and fashions he saw and knew. At sea felt many woes, much care sustain'd to save from overthrows himself and friends in their retreat for home. But so their fates he could not overcome, though much he thirsted it. O men unwise, they perish'd by their own impieties, that in their hunger's rapine would not shun the oxen of the lofty going sun, who therefore from their eyes the day bereft of safe return. These acts in some part left, Tellus, as others, deified seed of Jove. Now all the rest, that austere death outstrove at Troy's long siege, at home safe anchor'd are, free from the malice both of sea and war. Only Ulysses is denied access to wife and home. The grace of Goddesses, the reverend nymph Calypso, did detain him in her caves, past all the race of men enflam'd to make him her lov'd lord and spouse. And when the Gods had destin'd that his house, which Ithaca on her rough bosom bears, the point of time wrought out by ambient years, should be his haven, contention still extends her envy to him, even amongst his friends. All Gods took pity on him, only he, that girds the earth in the cincture of the sea, divine Ulysses ever did envy, and made the fix'd port of his birth to fly. But he himself solemniz'd a retreat to the Æthiops far disunder'd in their seat, in two parts parted, at the sun's descent, and underneath his golden orient, the first and last of men, to enjoy their feast of bulls and lambs in hecatombs address'd, at which he sat, given over to delight. The other Gods in heav'n's supremest height were all in council met, to whom began the mighty Father both of God and man discourse, inducing matter that inclined to wise Ulysses, calling to his mind faithful Ægisthus, who to death was done by young Orestes, Agamemnon's son. His memory to the Immortals then moved Jove thus deeply: "O how falsely men accuse us Gods as authors of their ill, when, by the bane of their own bad lives instill, they suffer all the miseries of their states past our inflictions, and beyond their fates, as now Ægisthus, past his fate, did wed the wife of Agamemnon, and, in dread to suffer death himself, to shun his ill, incurr'd it by the loose bent of his will in slaughtering Atrides in retreat, which we foretold him would so hardly set to his murderous purpose, sending Mercury that slaughter'd Argus, our considerate spy, to give him this charge: Do not wed his wife, nor murder him, for thou shalt buy his life with ransom of thine own, imposed on thee by his Orestes, when in him shall be Atrides' self renew'd, and but the prime of youth's spring put abroad, in thirst to climb his haughty father's throne by his high acts. These words of Hermes wrought not into facts Ægisthus' powers. Good counsel he despised, and to that good his ill is sacrificed. Pallas, whose eyes did sparkle like the skies, answer'd: "O sire, supreme of Deities, Ægisthus past his fate, and had desert to warrant our infliction, and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?